everyone. This is in continuation with our previous class in which we have discussed about the features of Java, and there we discussed about Java is one of the most important features about Java is that it is platform independent. So this is just a recap of that, why, yeah, or what makes Java a platform independent. As I told you, the first program which we write using simple English language, although we follow the syntax, the rules, the grammar of Java language, but we use simple English language. And the program which we write using this simple English language is called source code, and the extension of that program is .java. Now Java uses both compiler and interpreter. The Java compiler converts this source code into the bytecode. Bytecode is the intermediate code whose extension is .class. Now this bytecode is converted into object code by the interpreter, Java interpreter, in Java virtual machine. This object code is machine specific. Mind my words, machine specific. Why I am saying machine specific? JVM converts this intermediate bytecode into object code depending on the type of machine on which it is being run. For example, suppose you want to run your source code on your mobile device or on your laptop or on your Apple Mac or iPhone, or on a system having Windows as operating system, or on a system which is having Linux as operating system. So JVM will convert according to the machine bytecode into object code, and this feature makes Java machine independent. This feature makes Java platform independent. Java program can be run on any machine because of JVM, Java Virtual Machine, which converts the bytecode, intermediate code into machine specific code. So now this is clear to you. This is the flow, how it runs. Source code being converted into bytecode by the Java compiler, and bytecode is converted into machine specific object code by the interpreter, and makes Java platform independent. Now moving ahead to the today's topic, data types. What all data types are covered in Java? Mainly there are two types of data types. One is primitive data type, another is non-primitive data type. Primitive or basic or natural, you can say, you can use any word, uh, but here in terms of Java we will be using primitive and non-primitive data types. Primitive data types are mainly two types, numeric and non-numeric. Numeric and non-numeric. Just hold on. Just hold on a minute. Okay. Before coming to primitive data type, let me explain you non-primitive data type. Non-primitive data types are derived from primitive data types. And what are non-primitive data types? Classes, arrays, and interface. All these three non-primitive data types will be discussing in detail in the coming classes. For today, at the moment, we will be focusing on primitive data type, which are of two types, numeric and non-numeric. In numeric data type, there are mainly two types of data, integers and floating, whereas in non-numeric there are characters and boolean. Non-numeric data types are characters and boolean, whereas numeric data types are integers and floating data type. Moving ahead, integers are of mainly four types: byte, short, int, long. These are the data types, and these are the reserved keywords: byte, short, int, long. Byte takes 8 bit of data space, that is 1 byte. For example, byte A, this is the defining and declaring the data type. Byte A is equals to 5. Short 16 bits or 2 bytes. Short B b is equals to 12. This is how we define a variable. Okay, variable b has been defined as sort data type, and the value stored is 12 in b, which is of sort data type. Int 32 bit or 4 bytes. Int c is equals to 214, and the next one is long 64 bits or 8 bytes of space is taken. Long d is equals to 45678 Oh, there must be a semicolon at the end. Okay, every Java statement must end with a semicolon. So these are the primitive integral data types, that is without any decimal point, without any fractional part. Moving ahead, floating type. There are mainly two types of floating data types. One is float, another is double. Float stores fractional numbers with a small range, whereas double stores fractional number with wide range of values. In float takes for 32 bits of space, memory space, that is 4 bytes, whereas double takes 8 bytes of memory space. And the way to declare and define the floating data type is float m is equals to 34.45 semicolon, or double n is equals to 12.1234567. One point you must note here: in floating data type there are up to 7 decimal points. Floating data type can store fractional number up to 7 decimal points, whereas double can store up to 15 decimal points. Up to 15 decimal points in 8 bits of memory space, you can store a fractional value using double data types. This table mainly shows you various data types, primitive integer data types, as well as fractional data types, floating data type, but it is in the order of their hierarchy. Hierarchy order is from bottom to top in the ascending order. Means say the first one here is boolean data type. B will be small. Okay, mind it, b will be small. Data type b, boolean b will be small. Boolean only stores true or false. Boolean only stores true or false and takes only one bit of space. True or false here is 0 or 1. 0 for false, 1 for true. Byte stores 8 bits, takes 8 bits of memory space, and the values which can be stored using byte data type are minus 128 to plus 127, and helps in bitwise operations only. Next in hierarchy level, moving ahead in hierarchy level, char comes. Char data type, which stores only a character, whereas sort stores up to sort integers from minus 32,768 to plus 32,767, taking 16 bits or 2 bytes of space. Then comes int, long, float, double. So these are in the hierarchy order. Now what is the use of this hierarchy order? We will be discussing just in couple of slides later. This is for your information. This is in the order of their ascending order. Okay, boolean has lower precision than byte has higher precision than boolean. Byte is lower in precision than char. Int is having lower precision than long but higher precision than sort. So precision here means the value given to particular data type, okay, in the order of their hierarchy. Moving ahead to non-numeric data type, there are mainly two non-numeric data type. The one is boolean, which I just now discussed. Boolean stores only true and false, and the way to define boolean data type is keyword boolean, keyword data type boolean, flag is the variable name, is equals to false, or boolean flag is equals to true. It will only store true or false value. And another non-numeric data type is character, where in character you can store single character or you can store more than one character. Single character like char having 16 bits of memory space, char ch is equals to a, and whereas in more than one character you can store a word or a sentence or a paragraph or the whole page or a whole book in string data type. The keyword used here is string. Mind the first letter of the keyword string, where S is capital. String str is equals to within double quotes Java. Look here, the difference between char and string. Char stores single character, string stores more than one character. Char data type char, string data type s capital string. The values in char data type are stored using single quote, whereas in string data type values are stored using double quotes. Memory space taken up by char is 16 bits, whereas string takes more than 16 bits of character. So these are the differences between char and string data types. Now the next topic, this was all about the data types. Data types are of two types: primitive data type, non-primitive data type. Non-primitive will be discussed later on. In primitive there are two data types, numeric and non-numeric. Numeric values have two types, integer and floating. Integer without fractional part, floating with fractional part. And non-numeric data type are characters and boolean. Boolean takes only true or false. Characters are of two types, single character or multiple characters. Multiple characters can have one word, one sentence, one paragraph. These are the different data types in Java. Now moving ahead, type conversion. Type conversion, or you can also call it as typecasting. Typecasting, which is of mainly two types, implicit and explicit. Now what is this type conversion first of all? Then we will discuss about implicit type conversion and explicit type conversion. So to understand type conversion, the process of converting one primitive data type to another, either from lower precision to higher or vice versa. See, now here comes the precision. Either from lower precision to higher or vice versa, means higher precision to lower. It means that in type conversion, using implicit type conversion, you can convert a data type from boolean type to byte, or byte data type to int, or int data type can be converted into char, or a long data type can be converted into double, or vice versa, double data type can be converted into short or byte or int or any one which you want. So these are the various data types based on their precision, from lower precision to higher precision, or vice versa, from higher precision to lower precision. So this is called type conversion, the process of converting one primitive data type. One more thing, it can be done only with the primitive data types. You cannot do type conversion in non-primitive data types. These are mainly of two ways, implicit type conversion and the explicit type conversion. Implicit type conversion is performed by the compiler of the Java without programmer's intervention, without your intervention. It is done implicitly, it is done automatically, it is done internally. The compiler itself will recognize whether you need to do type conversion or not, and it will do without your intervention. How it is done? For example, int a is 10. Int a is having integer value a is equals to 10, and here in D, where data type is double, you are storing the value a. So when you give the output statement, system.out.println is the output statement used in Java. System.out.println D, the above code snippet gives 10.0 as output. Why 10.0, sir? In A it was 10. In A it was storing 10 because it was of integer data type, no fractional value. But D is a double type, which is a fractional data type. So when you store value of A in D, and when you ask for the output D, then it is giving you 10.0, means with fractional part 0.0 as output. So this clearly indicates that int data type got automatically converted to the double data type. This is how implicit type conversion is done. Next is explicit type conversion. In this type conversion, user have to define the type of conversion from which lower precision data type to higher precision data type you want to convert, or vice versa, from higher to lower. So generally this is done to force a conversion from higher precision data type to lower precision. See, in implicit data type conversion, the lower precision data type is automatically converted into double precision data type. Okay, here it was automatically done. There was no type conversion done by the programmer. But here, if you look at the statement, int I is equals to int pi. Int I is the integer data type, where pi here has been defined as double data type, having the value 3.1415. So here If you write int I is equals to pi, then it will show you the error message, possible loss of precision. You can't write int I is equals to pi. So to convert this higher precision data type pi into lower type precision data type int, you have to write the statement like this: int I is equals to int pi. Pi is double, but explicitly, externally, the programmer himself is defining pi, is asking the compiler to use the value of pi only the integral part, integer part of pi. You are asking the compiler to truncate the decimal portion, the fractional part of pi, and take only the integer part. So the output will be here 3. This is how explicit type conversion is done. Depending on the need of the program at the particular location, you may need to take only the integer part of certain value, of certain decimal number. Then there you can do, if it is decimal number to integer number, if you want to use it, convert decimal number into integer number, that is from higher precision to lower precision, then you have to define it explicitly, do it explicitly, and this is the method of doing type conversion explicitly. Next, there are few drawbacks also of type conversion. Number one is, when a data type is converted from double to float, that is from higher precision to lower precision, it results in loss of precision. Why? Because double data type has 16 digits after decimal point, whereas float is having only 7 digits. So the value will be lost. That is why this is called loss of precision. Similarly, when a data type is converted from double or float to integer, then again there is a loss of fractional part, loss of entire fractional part, leaving behind only the integer part. So this is again a type of loss of precision. And when you convert a higher order integer data type like int or long into byte or short, then again there will be a loss in data. It will show you the error message out of range, because integer is being converted into byte or short data type. So this is again a out of range error. So here I wanted to explain you with the help of an example. Int a is suppose 130, and you are converting a explicitly into byte. Byte is a lower precision data type, lower than integer. Integer a is having a value 130, but you are trying to convert it into byte. But for your kind information, byte data type only stores from -127 to +128. Byte stores from -127 to +127. So when you try to store the value 130 in byte b, variable b, which is byte, data type is byte, then what will be the output? You will get only -126. You will get output -126. How? Because integer is having value from -2 to the power 31. Integer data type is having values from -2 to the power 31 to 2 to the power 31 minus 1. This much values can be stored using int data type, but byte can store only from values from -127 to +127. Just imagine the number line. On the number line, when you will represent -128, -127, -126, -100, -50, -90, -10, -9, -8, -7, 0, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, it will go up to +127, not more than 127. But here in this example you want to store 130, so it will give you a value out of range error, and the value which will give you as output will be only 126, -126. This is how these are few limitations of type conversion. This is how type conversion is done, and this is all for the day. Next topic will be operators and expressions in Java.